Abraham Lincoln. No, not the vampire hunter. I'm talking about the real man, who was the 16th President of the United States of America. Honest Abe, the president who declared war against his own country to ultimately unify it. The leader who helped to end slavery by entering in the Civil War and his participation in the creation of the Emancipation Proclamation. He was a great leader and a great president, and in the following speech, I will try to give our 16th president the credit he deserves. Before I go into his accomplishments, I will first like to discuss the man who is Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln was born February 12, 1809, in a log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, to Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln. In 1830, the Lincoln family moved to Macon County, Illinois, and Abraham decided to make it on his own by living a life of manual labor. Abraham was known for his striking skill of swinging an axe and made a living on splitting firewood and making rail fencing. Over the next couple of years, Lincoln held jobs that included being a shopkeeper, a postmaster, and a general store owner. During Lincoln's time as a general store owner, he acquired many social skills that made him popular with the locals of Illinois. A couple years later, a war between the United States and the Native Americans broke out, called the Black Hawk War. During this time, the volunteers in Lincoln's area elected him to be their captain. He saw no combat during this time, but made many political connections. Soon after, Lincoln began his political career and was elected to the Illinois State Legislature and was a member of the Whig Party. It was around this time that Abraham decided to become a lawyer, and after the bar in 1837, he moved to Springfield, Illinois, and practiced law at John Teach Stewart firm. In 1847, Lincoln decided to enter politics and was elected to the House of Representatives for a single term. He used his term in the House to speak out against the Mexican-American War and supported Zachary Taylor for president. In 1854, Congress passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This act allowed individuals and states to decide for themselves whether to and whether not to allow slavery. This law created violent opposition, and it helped give rise to the Republican Party, which Lincoln joined in 1856. In 1860, politicians in Illinois organized a campaign to elect Lincoln for presidency. During that year, at the Republican National Convention, Lincoln received the Republican nomination because of his moderate views on slavery, his support for improving the national infrastructure, and the protective tariff. Lincoln defeated Stephen Douglas, John C. Breckinridge, and John Bell in the presidential election by carrying 180 of the 301 electoral votes. Now that you know who Abraham Lincoln was, I would like to discuss what he is known for: his time as president. Lincoln was known for many things during his time as our 16th president, such as being the president who served during the Civil War, for help creating the Emancipation Proclamation, and giving the Gettysburg Address. I'd first like to discuss his effect in the Civil War. When Lincoln was elected, seven southern slave states declared their secession from the Union and formed the Confederate States of America. Due to this, Lincoln declared war in an attempt to unify the country. Lincoln supervised the war and selected top generals that included Ulysses S. Grant. Under Lincoln's leadership, the Union set up a naval blockade to help eradicate the South Strait. He took control of the slave state borders and tried over and over again to capture the Confederates' capital in Richmond, Virginia. Through Lincoln and Grant's perseverance, they won the war and once again unified the United States. To also aid in abolishing slavery, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. This helped encourage the bordering states to outlaw slavery and helped the 13th Amendment to be pushed through Congress, which ultimately ended slavery in December of 1865. Lincoln is also known for his Gettysburg Address, which has become the most quoted speech in American history. It was delivered during the Civil War on November 19, 1863. It was an iconic speech about America's principles of nationalism, equal rights, liberty, and democracy. Abraham Lincoln had many highlights during his lifetime. He went from being a general store owner to being ranked as one of the greatest presidents in United States history. He helped get our country through the Civil War. He was a guiding hand in abolishing slavery in our nation and gave one of the most memorable speeches in our nation's history during the Gettysburg Address. I will now leave you with a quote that Abraham Lincoln once left with during a speech in Chicago. I leave you, hoping that the lamp of liberty will burn your bosoms until there shall no longer be a doubt that all men are created equal and free. Thank you.